Fridays for the Future is open. It's a public forum, and I really would like us to have some of our affiliates get involved with it. Other businesses who have sustainability, the things to talk about. So if anybody knows anybody who would be interested in giving a presentation, forward the information on to me and we can invite them to speak and spread the word that there are things locally that are happening that can be helping the environment. So today we have Jessica Thompson, who's the founder of the Be Joyful Shop. It's a fun little store down on Kalamazoo Mall. It's Michigan's first zero waste and refillery. You take a bottle down there and you can refill it. It's a refillery. I never heard that word before. I love it. Raised off the grid, she has dedicated the last 8 years to assisting the community in reducing waste. So I'll let Jessica now talk about her store and what she is doing for the community and for sustainability.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being here today. And it's funny when I get invited to do different things. Everyone's always like, oh, talk about your store. And it's usually the last thing I talk about because I'm so excited and want to just help the community to do things. So this isn't meant to be a sales pitch in any way. One of the things that we do at our shop is different than a retail store. Is we'll turn people away. We'll tell them to go away and use up what they have and then come back. So I am going to share. I have some slides here. So there is our logo, Be Joyful Shop, and there's me. Talk a little bit about how this got started. I was raised totally off the grid. I grew up with no electricity, running water, indoor plumbing until I was a senior in high school in Allegan. So it's not like this was up north or anything. It was about half hour away from here. And we built a log cabin from scratch. And my parents just really wanted to be self-sufficient. And so I have years and years of sustainability and caring for others and caring for the planet just ingrained in me. Now, when I moved to Kalamazoo in 91, I was very excited to have a toilet inside of my apartment and be able to turn on a light without burning myself. So convenience was very exciting for me. And over the next few years, I just lived life. I was a college student, and then a little bit later, I got married. And in a very short time, had 7 children, I had 5 children in 7 years. And then when the baby was 2, unfortunately got a divorce. So all of this will make sense in a minute of why I'm sharing this. So for the next 12 years, I was a single mom of my 5 kids. And I think I had a shift in, just like, parents do, of wanting to do the best for their children, for their families. And one of those things was obviously good food, but also good products for your kids. And, but it was hard. I had no money. We were in a 2-bedroom apartment at one point, the 6 of us. It was rough. And just like with organic foods, they're so much more expensive. Some of these sustainable products are ridiculously overpriced. And so I couldn't afford all of these good things that I wanted to have for my kids. Now, as they got older, they started telling me, Mom, plastic's really bad, because, they were talking about straws and how the turtles were killing the straws, or the straws were killing the turtles. My words are all mixed up today. And so we started looking at different options of what we could do, what we could afford at our house. And I got everybody a reusable straw, but I couldn't afford the metal bento boxes, and I couldn't afford the stasher bags, the reusable Ziploc bags. And so I just kept looking, and so not only did I have eco guilt, I had mom guilt. And that's not a good place to be, because you just feel like a failure and you feel bad. And I stumbled across on the internet a company in Australia that was making these reusable food wraps. And I couldn't afford those either. They were really expensive. Shipping was horrible. But I started looking at them and I was like, you know what? We are a crafty bunch. We could make these. We could make these, and then I could wrap all of my kids' lunches in these reusable food wraps. And so we started making them. I took $35. I called Consumers Energy and I said, can I pay this bill next month? And I took the $35 and went out and got materials for it. I found beeswax and all of the things that we needed, and I got them all ice cream that night too. And with that $35, that's what started our business. I made everybody their own individual food wraps. One of my girls had mermaids and somebody else had Star Wars, and it was a whole thing. Well, they took those to school, and when you have 5 kids that are all in the elementary school, you know everyone and the teachers all know you. And the teachers were reaching out and they were like, Jess, what are the kids do? Where did you get those? They said you made these. We want them. And it started this whole thing. And then one of my really good friends at the school said, you should be selling these, because she knew how rough things were. And I was like, oh my gosh, what do you mean sell these? And she was like, you could sell these. Like this is great. And this was before they were popular. This was 8-9 years ago. So I started making them, and I put them on Etsy. And in the first day, we had sales from around the world, which is, like, I guess, unheard of in the Etsy world. And then within the first month, I made so much money. I had no idea what I was doing. Also, number one, had no idea how to ship or sell or do it. I just jumped right in. And the next month, I got I was contacted from a lady named Amy, and she wanted to carry them in her store. That lady, Amy Zane, is now one of my best friends and works on the same block as me. And so that's what started the whole business. We were looking for affordable things to do, and to be able to help other people. And so that's how it got started. We want to make this accessible and affordable for everyone. So anyone who comes in can be like, oh yeah, I can get that. So that went on. First 2 years, we did markets and craft shows and all kinds of things. The next couple of years, I entered some entrepreneur contests and won 2 of them. And then in 2019, we moved into the Park Trade Center. I had 300 square feet that we had, and started carrying a couple more things. People kept asking, what else do you have? What else could you get in? This is my problem. I need a solution for it. So I just kept looking for other small makers that were doing good things and having sustainable products. And then we were walking downtown one day. It was in January, and I saw a space, this really cute space. And I looked in the windows and I took pictures of it that night. And I said, wow, wouldn't it be cool to have a whole store that was all sustainable stuff, and to have where you could bring in. And the person I was with was like, what do you mean refill your bottles? And so I'm explaining it and how I've seen these shops in Europe that do this, and they've been doing it for a long time, and it all just seemed weird and everything. But I called the next day to see, what, like, could I afford this? What does that look like? In my head, it was $10,000 a month. I had no idea. And I ended up signing the lease the next week. We got in, we painted, we started ordering product. Our opening date was set for April 2nd of 2020. So that did not go well.
Yeah.
The state closed down a week before our grand opening. And then for the next 5 months, I moved everything online. I was on Instagram, became TikTok famous. Paris Hilton's commented on a couple videos of mine. And so from Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, the sales that we were able to generate And then me sneaking out of the house when there was the mandate not to leave, to get product, it saved our business because we did not have grants, or we were too new to get the PPP loans. Um, Everything started with that $35 and I have no loans. So it's been completely self-sustaining as well. Rough, but we did it. We made it through. Um, so that's kind of the story of how we got here today. The name also is important to me because when we were trying to come up with a name for our food wraps, the kids were had all kinds of crazy ideas, and my grandma had always told me when I was a little girl, anytime anything bad happened, she would always say, "Jesse, be joyful, and hope that things are going to get better." And so I took that name, and now it means so much more. That we want to be joyful, that people care, that there are businesses and people that are doing good things, and we need to be joyful in the hope that things will turn around. So our name isn't just something cheesy, like it means a lot to me. Um, Funny story also is that so I know I said the $35. That's important because last summer I got this weird phone call from Consumers Energy, and my brain went to, oh no, did I get a new card and my bill didn't get go through on auto pay? And the lady said, no, 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 this isn't about a bill. We This is Consumers Energy, and we do a green con each year, and we would like to invite you to be one of our guest speakers. And I was able to share my story and how that very kind person on the other end that deferred my $35 payment when I was dirt poor, totally changed not only my life but my children's, and now has had a hand in helping the community. So it kind of came full circle, and I was a big sobbing mess as well. So um, I'm going to go through really quick what we offer. Because again, this isn't meant to be a sales pitch. It's just to let everybody know what we do have. Because so many people come in and they're like, we had no idea this was here. Um, Everything in our store is sectioned off, just like a regular store where you have the laundry section and the kitchen. But you're just not going to see any packaging pretty much at all. We have maybe one thing that has some cardboard around it. Um, Everything in our store. So we have laundry, we have kitchen, bath, and self-care, on the go things. And everything it's all good ingredients. We make 75 products in-house. Everything's all organic and natural. There's no sulfates, parabens, phthalates, no fragrance oils, only pure essential oils. So when people walk in, they always take a deep breath and they're like, it smells so good in here. And like it does, because there's nothing bad. But people can come in and find every plastic free alternative that you could possibly need for your life. So you have a Keurig, you've been using the K cups, we have a reusable one. We have options as well. So you're looking for dish soap, we have different liquids, we have dishwasher powder, dishwasher pods, we have the solid dish blocks. And then in our store, we also try to encourage people to really stop and think. Our goal is to encourage, educate, and inspire people. Nowhere in our pillars is listed to sell, sell, sell. Obviously, we have to pay the bills, right? But those are our goals. Are to Someone walks in with a plastic cup and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." No, 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 that's okay. Like, you were out. There's not many options. Like, we're never mean about anybody who comes in, um, or they say, "Oh, well, we just can't use that." That's okay. What else could you do? Somebody said they're stuck on this one product and they don't know how they could change it. And I'm like, okay, but you're doing 5 other really good things. So don't be hard on yourself. So we're constantly trying to encourage and inspire with our stories. My kids work in and out of here a lot with me, and so they all have their own stories of using stuff and how that helps them, or how they've been able to get their young friends to make changes too, which is really cool. Um, and then just to get people thinking differently, right? That it's not that hard to make the switch. You just have to be intentional. You have to stop and take it just 30 seconds and think, do I need this? Could I get something different? Should I take that extra time and just carry something out of the store with my hands, or remember to bring those bags in the store with you, which is, it's hard. we I am the worst at it. um and then the other cool thing that we have, so it's not just a store. We also have our refillery. We have 65 refills in house. um we make about a quarter of them. We have some that come from Grand Rapids, some that come from Lansing and Detroit, and then we have one group that makes a few products that are out of state as well. Everything that we get is on a closed loop system. So if we get a big 5 gallon bucket or one of the other containers, the reusable bags, we ship it back to them. We get a credit for shipping it back. They sanitize, they fill them back up, and they ship them back out. So we love that. Sometimes we won't ship the 5 gallon buckets out because we also offer kitchen composting for free to the community. So you can, a lot of the residents who live downtown bring in their kitchen composting buckets and drop it off. We wash it out, give it back to them, and they go on their day. And then, so we use those buckets for that. We offer classes and workshops, which are not only fun, people get to make stuff, but it's making things that are really good for you and giving them the tools to go home and make that themselves. But we're always teaching too, of like why. We will say here, you could go get bath salts or a sugar scrub at Target or Bath and Body or anywhere like that. But what are those ingredients? What does the packaging look like? And here's how you could do it so that it's better for you and the planet, right? We offer pop-up shops for our small makers and artisans because that's how we got started. We don't charge a fee for that because I remember how that felt, going to a market and paying $100 and selling 50. So we don't charge for that. We love our community. And then we also have, not only do we have the composting, but we have 22 other free community services, recycling programs, that razors, wine corks, oh my gosh, markers, small electronics, batteries, all kinds of different candy wrappers, things that can't be recycled in Kalamazoo County. And we take those, we incur the cost for the boxes. Some go to TerraCycle, some are other specialized like Rubicon or Wands for Wildlife, different things like that. And then people can just bring in their recycling and drop it off to us. Well, I didn't know that we partnered with the city. I found out. So the city does the quarterly recycling of styrofoam. And we had been accepting it, and I had just been driving it over on their quarterly days. And one day we started getting a ton of styrofoam, and I was just like, what is happening? And somebody finally said, well, you're listed on the city of Kalamazoo's website, that in between the quarterly drop-offs, that if you can't make it, drop it off to Be Joyful Shop. And I was like, oh, that is really good to know. And like 2 weeks later, per the city, of course, 2 weeks after they posted it, they came in to make sure that was okay. So that was pretty funny. I was like, oh, that is good information. But it's been great. It's been great to be able to partner with them, and then also just to see that we're being recognized a little bit too, of we are doing some good things in the community. Yeah, that's pretty much the store, how it got started, what we do. We have, oh, I take on so much because I just can't say no to things. And we have a couple really cool partnerships coming up, and the things that we're working on. One of them being a recycle or takeout boxes for the community. We're going to start with just downtown, probably just the mall to get going, kind of a beta testing program. And it's going to be reusable takeout containers. And I am thrilled they asked me about it. And um, if I would help get that started, because I have so many connections and have conversation. Everybody down here, they're all my friends now. And so we've started working on that, where we will give the restaurants the reusable takeout containers. The people will come, they'll get their takeout, they take it home, and then they bring it back, and it could be to any of the participating locations. And then they just throw it in their wash with the rest of their dishes from the night, and then just continue to reuse it. And then I would go around and make sure everybody still has the right amount of bowls or squares or tops and all of that type of stuff. And then so that's in the works right now. And then another really cool thing that we did last year and is starting back up in the spring is I had an intern from K College in the sustainability program, and we worked together to come up with a report card for the downtown businesses, and basically go in a very positive manner and say to them, let's go over things that you're doing in your business. Um, are you using plastic bags or paper bags? Paper bags, big green check. Awesome. Great job. That's awesome. Are you giving out receipts, or are you doing email or text? Oh, you're just doing the electronic, big green check. And so we highlighted all of the great things that they were doing. And then obviously there were some that were maybe a little red X. And we said, okay, out of the list of things that aren't as sustainable, what's one thing that you could change going forward for the next year? And everybody picked two. And so over this last year, everyone on the mall, the 3 blocks of the mall, so 45 shops and restaurants have made at least 2 sustainable changes, and they've continued those. This year for the upcoming internship, they're going to go back. The new person will go back, check in to see how easy was it. What did you come across? Did people get mad? Like that, those types of things. Just from conversations I've had with my friends down here, they were all like, no, this was easy. I don't know why we haven't been doing this before. And so then we're going to challenge them to do one more thing. And then after, probably not this year, but the next year, we're going to give like a green seal accreditation or something of like, this store has really made some significant changes to be more sustainable going forward. So everybody's been great though, because they've saved money too, which is really neat. So we have a lot of really fun things going on. We try to make it fun. We don't want this to be like, stop killing the planet. Like people get that enough. We try to, be joyful about making changes. So that's about it. I could go on and on and on, but I would rather answer questions.
Steve, I see your hand up.
Yeah, Jessica, thank you so much. I've heard about your shop for many years. Fortunately, I don't get downtown very often, so this is eye-opening. What a great story. Should be made into a movie. But I have a couple questions. Who's we? It sounds like your kids work with you sometimes, but I mean, do you have a business partner? Is it you and your kids? What, or is it the royal we?
It's the royal we. I speak in the royal we a lot. I also I run the downtown Kalamazoo shops, like social media and the marketing and the events and stuff down here. So a lot of that is me, but I want to be inclusive of everyone. And so I say the royal we a lot, even though it might be just me doing it. And I do that a lot with my store as well. So it is me a lot. I don't have a business partner. My husband is really removed. He does his meteorology thing and does a great job at that and lets me focus on this. And the two worlds should not collide unless we end up doing our really cool podcast that we're talking about doing, because that would be a really cool, like, from a meteorology standpoint and like for climate change. And then I could come in on like the other side of it, like but that's a whole nother story. Um, so he is very removed from this. So it's me. And then, yes, my kids are constantly here. Like right now, my son is down here. He was just handing me notes. And I was like, so if I was off screen, he was handing me a note. So he was working here right now. He is 22. And then my oldest daughter, who just turned 25, she helps me sometimes with photography and different graphics and things for social media and the website. Um, my other son comes in when there's heavy lifting to be done because he's a big bodybuilder dude. And then I've got one in high school who thinks he knows everything. He's so good though. And then my other daughter's at MSU right now, and so she just provides emotional support. But she was the one who kind of helped start the store with me and get things going. So
it's you started the store with $35 borrowed from consumers, essentially. And now you're going gangbusters. As someone who has tried and failed at being an entrepreneur, I'm really impressed. But I don't know how to best ask this question, but how do you resist the capitalist trap?
No, I totally get that. I have a lot of people who come in and they're like, well, are you making money? How are things going? There are several people down here who are constantly walking in and saying to me, oh, you could be asking more for that. You could be charging so much more for that. And I'm like, I know I could. But I remember that feeling. I remember that feeling of walking into a store and getting to my car and crying because I couldn't buy that thing that was really good for my kids. And anytime that somebody says, I just met with my accountant and we were talking about all of the yucky business stuff that I don't like. I don't like numbers. I don't like the businessy stuff of it. Like I would rather make things and make people happy and save the planet like that. I want to do that. But he makes me talk about numbers, so that's fine. And he was like, you could raise your prices. And I was like, oh, but I don't want to. Now, if I get a product and they've raised their prices, then I will do that. I will do that because that's just smart business. But you're not going to see anything that's like, I got it for $1 and I'm charging you $5. That's just not going to happen. We are paying the bills. We're able to get the recycling boxes are about $150 to $200 a piece. We have 10 right now. And then, when they get filled up, we send them off and buy the new. And that's okay. That's okay. Our store is very different than everybody down here. So when we all get together, they're talking about all kinds of crazy, things over here. And I'm being the weird, like hippie girl, like, doing that. So, it is an interesting place to be. It's an interesting place to be being the weird kid on the block. So, but we made it through COVID. I didn't even mention, we started another store on the other side of the state too. I was open in Dexter for 2 years. And then close that to focus more on here. So that was, yeah.
Tim had his hand up first, Mark.
Yeah, well, first of all, I would say I don't see anything wrong with making money. You deserve a good living from what you do in life. Number one, have you ever considered regarding pricing, putting up on your items minimum price that would encourage people to pay more if they want to or if they're able to?
That would be an interesting concept. Nobody's ever actually brought that up to me. I would have to look into that. But we did just talk about, my son and I were talking about doing a roundup at the checkout. So your purchase is $21.40, and would you like to round that up to help to pay for our recycling boxes? something like that. And so that just came up. And I think starting in January, we might start doing something like that. But I would have to look into that. But yeah, no one's ever said that before. I like it.
Mark, I think you had your hand up.
I'm just so enormously impressed with the range of things you're up to. I had no idea, but I was in your shop yesterday, and I bought some chopsticks so that I could reuse those instead of getting them from the takeout. But why I actually came in was to refill this with dish soap. And you told me that you were out of it for now. And I do have a couple of questions, but I'll just start with that one.
Mhm.
Would you talk for a minute about supply chain issues and how that's working out? And obviously there are some bumps along the way.
Yes, there's definitely bumps along the way. I would say the refill station is the bumpiest road. Normally it's not like it, there's bumps, but this has been like a cavern. Like when you see those videos where the ground just opens up and fall, like that's been the last 3 weeks. Our big shipment from out of state got lost. I don't know how in 2023 shipments get lost like that, but they found it. It's been shipped back to the people who make it. They're checking it because they're really concerned that it got too hot, it got too cold, it got ruined something. So they're checking it and they're going to get it back to us. Normally it's not that bad. We might be out of something for a couple of days because someone brought in a 2-gallon bucket and they were like, I'm stocking up for the year. And we're like, whoo, okay, that wiped out the rest of what we have. That is one of the things I was talking to about with my accountant and I don't know what I call him. He's like my advisor. He helps me with trying to navigate the financial stuff. And now that I've gone from the $35 to 6 digits of dealing with all of that. That's not me making that money, by the way, at all. That's just what's coming in and going out. And so helping me to navigate that so that we don't have these gaps where, yes, we might be out of something, but we've got another 25-gallon bucket in the back. And then once that one's gone, then we order more, and we constantly have a replenishment of that. So, but on top of just me dealing with that, supply chain has been hard over the last 3.5 years that we've been here. COVID was just nonsensical the first year. The second year might have been worse just because you couldn't get, I mean, it was like when there was no toilet paper, right? Like people were like, there's no coconut oil. We can't get jojoba oil. Shea butter is totally gone. We don't know where to get the supply from. So none of the people could make the things. It is one of the reasons that we started making so much of our stuff in-house as well. We went from 1 product to 75. And that was one of the reasons, was because of supply chain issues. And then last year was shipping issues. Shipping was taking forever. We didn't know when it was coming. It said it shipped. Then there was no tracking. That's why having this latest tracking issue of being lost was like, not again, not again. So yeah, so I think that once this stuff gets back to us, and then kicking off the beginning of the year, we're going to be in a much better place. We're rearranging the store right now in anticipation of that, so that we will have what's out on the floor. We're going to have our stockpile of stuff that's right behind the curtain, if you will. Well, there is a curtain behind the curtain. And then we're going to have another supply as well. And so we'll have that backup, and in bigger quantities too. It's just when you buy a 25-gallon drum or a 50-gallon drum, like that's a lot of money. And then times that by 65. So it's a lot.
Thank you. Well, I have a second question, and I have a mental list of things that I wish I could stop using and be more sustainable in that regard.
Mhm.
And I never thought of coming down and talking to you about these things, but you have a small shop and it's crammed full of stuff to buy. Many of those things that I don't need or want or use. Some of them I do, and I've been down there at least a dozen or more times. And my question is, you're hearing from people about other ideas, right?
Mhm.
So I'd like to share some of mine in due course. I'll, make a
Yeah.
physical list and come down and talk to you about some things. But kind of even beyond that is, I mean, to expand, your store is full, and to expand means you need some more capital to do that. Have you ever
Yes.
thought of approach? You have no business partners. You have no other capitalization. Have you ever thought of approaching people and saying, would you like to help me expand this? Because I think what you have, well, I don't know. I feel great every time I come down, even if I'm only buying one or two things. If you could have a more prominent presence or more stores, or maybe that's not your vision. That's just mine.
So, I
But I'm
have
just so
such a
enthusiastic about
vision.
the idea of the shop, and I really love that you're there. So just
I
whatever reaction you have to that.
No, I really appreciate that. That makes me so happy. I constantly am thinking big. We have a calendar with little pins on it of different things, and one of them is pins of someone has asked from every state now, Hawaii included, of could we franchise this? I don't think that I'm there yet, but wow, what a compliment to that. I always say I can help you. Let's talk. Let's chat about this, and you could start your own. I do think that people like the story behind it. I love my story. I have gone through tragedy and triumph to chaos and beautifulness. It's I mean, I didn't even touch on any of the chaos of my life. So to be here is I never I never would have imagined ever in my life be imagined that I would be sitting here in my store with I can hear people upstairs and then sitting here with you. It's just amazing. It's magical to me. Um as far as the products go, so we started I should add that to my little presentation. We started the refill station with 6 bottles, and I have these pictures of me like, look, and like different angles of these bottles because I was like, look at this amazing refill station we have. And now I look back and I'm like, oh, that was cute. So most of the products that we have in our store is because of people asking, could you get this? Do you have this? We got conditioner in, and a mom with little kids came in and said, could you find a 2-in-1 conditioner that's good that I could refill? Yep, I'm on it. And I searched for 2 weeks and we found the 2-in-1 conditioner. We had, we started off with 1 laundry, then we ended up with 2, and then someone said, "Oh, I need hypoallergenic," and I was like, "Let's add that in." So, and then all of the products on the shelves as well. I mean, we had little shelves like you would have in your house. We had 5 or 6 of those. Now we have an entire wall, 4 shelves deep of products. Like if you go to Google and search our store and look at the Google photos, and then walk in the store, it's night and day from where we started. So, and it was because of people like you that said, I have a couple of things. Can you help me? The other thing I wanted to mention too, and I didn't during my slideshow thing, is dealing with or working through the heartache of finding out that people are greenwashers. It's something that I think we all go through, just going to Meijer or Target and something looks good, right? It's got a green label on it. It's got maybe a couple leaves or maybe a woman running through a forest, or a waterfall, right? All the things that make us think, oh, this is good. This is good stuff right here. And then to find out, number one, it's not, or you look at it and you're like, it might be good, but it's plastic bottle wrapped in plastic, and like, is it that good? Kind of thing. Or then you dig deeper and then you find out, oh, that's owned by Clorox. Cool. Or that's, oh, it has this name on it, but that's their parent company's Unilever. Like, it's heartbreaking. And we've encountered it here. I have had multiple places that we started with them in 2020 ordering. They looked great. I vetted them. I talked to either the owner or the manager of the business. I looked at Google stuff. I looked at their social medias. I did, I did my due diligence on those things. And then 6 months, a year in, come to find out they're getting their supply from somewhere that's not good, slapping their label on it, taking off the plastic, repackaging it in an old crusty box and mailing it to me to make it look like they're so sustainable. And so it's definitely, I like to believe the best in people. And so when I have that stuff happen, it's just so depressing. It's so depressing. So it's constantly being diligent about who we're supplying, who we're getting our stuff from too. So, and I put in the work. I really do. So I don't want anyone to come in and be like, well, I got it from here, but she's shady, or I could get this. What's that? There's some new site one of my kids told me about. It's not Shein, it's the other one. But they said like they're carrying sustainable products on there. And I was like, for the love of all. So we really do try. We put in the work of making sure that if you come in, this is a good product. But yes, bring me your list.
Steve, is your hand up still or new?
New. Just a couple more questions, so.
Yeah.
Really excited about the reusable takeout container initiative, and wondering, you said they asked me to help, or I think you said us. But who asked you? I mean, is this this is not the city's not, is the city putting money into this, or are these restaurants downtown that are spearheading this? Because I know Ann Arbor has a program like this, and was curious if are you modeling what you're doing after what Ann Arbor's doing, or you making it up from scratch? Who's bankrolling it? Who's behind it?
Yes. So back in 2020, when we first opened, one of the commissioners, Jean Hess, came into the store. She brings her compost to me. She comes in all of the time. She's a big supporter of what we do here. And I talked to her about this. I had seen the program in New York, actually, and thought that was so cool. And I was like, wow, I want to do this for downtown. But obviously that was not the time nor the place to be doing anything reusable. I mean, we were making such great strides in the reusable field and recycling and all of that before COVID, and then it just went right down. So I put that little feeler out, and to say, I want to do this. Like, the mall would be such a great starting ground to do that. And then fast forward, we have a new sustainability coordinator. I'm not sure what his exact title is. Justin
Yes,
is a
Justin.
sustainability. Yes, Justin. And we have met a couple of times, and I had shared the idea. He had seen it in Ann Arbor. We started talking about all the places that are doing something like that. And so he said, I want to do this. Would you help? Would you be a part of this? Number one, I feel I have good ideas. I have a lot of knowledge when it comes to things like that. I also have the working relationships with all of the people, where if Justin bless his heart, were to come in and say to Bill at Roca, hey, I'm Justin from the city and we want to do this thing, Bill's going to be like, forget you, right? Like he'd be like, no. But if I walk in and I'm like, Bill, what's up? And we sit and we chat like we do once a week, he's going to be like, oh, well, that sounds interesting. That might be cool. Yeah, I'd like some more information on that. So having that relationship, I think, is going to be really, really helpful to kind of getting this going. So the city they're the ones behind the initiative. I've partnered with them, with myself / Be Joyful Shop, so that we have that name of, because what we do. And then we have several interns from U of M, and I think there's one from Michigan State. And so we're all working on that together. We actually meet this afternoon on another Zoom call to chat about stuff. So I'm interested to see what the pricing's going to come in like. We're trying to push for metal takeout as opposed to the plastic. There's a lot of stuff that's going to go into it, but I'm excited that they're even talking about it and wanted me to help. This is great.
Tim, do you have a question?
Yes. So thinking about your problems with vetting suppliers and the quality of their products, there used to be, and I wonder if you've heard of this, something called the Good Guide. And actually, I think their data is still available, but they're no longer actually vetting products because they weren't getting support that they needed. But I used to make use of it. It seemed like a really good service. I'm sorry to say I never provided them with any money, but are you aware of any other initiatives like that? And do you think there's a chance that the Good Guide could come back?
I was not familiar with that, but there is another one that I look at. The problem that I run into is that most of the people we get things from are small businesses. And unfortunately, just like I think in any other realm, somebody might start off with a good idea and then they take a shift. They find that cheaper product, Temu, that's the one, on a Temu site, and they're like, ooh, I could make the money. And that's where the capitalism comes in, right? They start off with a good idea. They realize that it takes work and it's hard. Like this isn't, and I think I had this too, of I wanted to have a cute shop and I wanted to do cool things and wear my bib overalls and like make friends and help people. And then I'm like, this is a lot of work. This isn't just a retail store. Like this is a lot of work. My basement is filled with styrofoam right now, like above my head and 10 feet wide of styrofoam. It's a lot of work. But my kids and I and my husband, like this is something we believe in. And so it's not that much work. It's just, it's just what we do. We also use a lot of, so since we've opened, because we were the first ones in Michigan, 10 other refill stores, zero waste and refill stores have opened. And so that our community is very tight knit. And we talk a lot, all of the shop owners, we talk a lot. And we have a group chat. It's great. And so I'll say, hey, have you guys seen this? Or they'll reach out and say, oh, I saw something a little off on this one. Do you guys know anything about them? Or, hey, there's this new company that looks like they're good. Have you heard of it? And then we all kind of, start doing the research and looking to help each other out. So I would say for the most part, people are good and they're doing good things. And then there's always the one or two they're swooping in and trying to make a buck. So, but it's like that anywhere. I think it comes with the territory. So we just have to be a little bit more diligent about it. So.
Well, I don't see any more questions, so I'll ask mine. This is all basically on your website. I haven't really looked at it, but You listed composting workshops, community services, 22 of them, and a business report card. Is all of this on your website so that people can get on there, find out what is available? And especially that business report card you were talking about, if people want to work with sustainable businesses, a report card like that would be very helpful. Is that available also on the website?
We have what we take for recycling on the website. I heard yesterday though that something might be amiss, and it's on my list today to check my website and make sure that it's fine. It hasn't had any issues in like 3 years, but of course it would happen during, the holidays. But normally everything is listed. And then the business report card isn't on there. It's something I could probably add to it. It's very simplistic, to be quite honest, because these were all, it's the 3 blocks of the mall. And so, and myself and my intern, we kind of knew everybody. So we were just walking in and saying like, are you reusing boxes? Where are you buying your tissue paper from? Do you shut your lights off when you leave a room? What kind of bags are you using? The receipt one is a big one. So, because you can't recycle it and it's got all the carcinogens and yuck in there. So we try to really help people to make that switch. That's a big one for me. So it is very simplistic, but it's a starting point. It's a good talking point for people to just
and you can't put it out without talking to them. You can't just go in, ask all this information, and then publish it if they don't know you're going to. That wouldn't be ethical. But I was just wondering if it was out there for, a consumer like me. Can I go check? And then the other question I had is you spell B as in the B, BEE.
Mhm.
Is there honey in your products? And if there is, do you list the product ingredients so if a vegan walks into your store, they know what they're getting?
Right. So, since our first product were the reusable food wraps, they were made with beeswax. I took my grandma's saying that she told me to be joyful. We turned it with the bee, just to kind of have the play on words. And it does cause confusion with people who come in and they walk in and they're like, we thought this was a honey store. I don't know how one would have an entire store of honey like that, but people think that we might, like an olive oil store, I guess, or something. We only have two products that have beeswax in them. Everything else in our entire store is vegan. So, so if somebody asks, we just have that conversation with them and say, the food wraps have beeswax. We can make them without. They're not, when you make it with like a candle wax or a different type of like a soy wax, it loses the antibacterial and antimicrobial properties. And so we went away from it, and then we went back to the original just because that is the OG product. We started with that, but if we do have someone ask, we'll make those for them special. And then there's another product that people like a lot, and so we have that. So there's only 2 things in there. The rest, everything else is vegan though.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Tim?
Are you connected with the West Michigan Sustainable Business Forum? They recently had a program in Kalamazoo, a live in-person program on food waste, for example. They are an affiliate of the Kalamazoo Climate Crisis Coalition, and I've been very impressed with what they are doing. So what do you think?
Oh, definitely. I think that I had a packed day that day and couldn't make it to the event. I am pretty in with a lot of the sustainable programs. Western Michigan Sustainability Program, Kay's Sustainability Program. Oh my gosh, there's several different. There's a podcast. Oh my gosh, I was just on the podcast a little while ago. What is it? I don't remember. Eco something. Eco something. What was it?
You did a green drinks presentation a while back.
Yes. Oh, green drinks as well. I'm on that committee, the sustainability coalition that's at the chamber that puts on the green drinks. I'm on that committee. So I'm pretty plugged into a lot of the different things that are going on. Sometimes I just don't have time, or if they cost a lot of money to attend. That's the other thing, which is a bummer, because I know that you have to, sometimes you have to pay, but like $200 to go to a luncheon to do a thing is just out of my price range right now. Which there was something that happened at the Radisson a few months ago, and I really wanted to go. It might have been the Michigan Recycling Coalition, and they had a big thing, and I was like, rats, I wanted to go to it, but it was too expensive. So that was stinky, but I'm still involved with them.
Okay, I don't see any more hands being raised. If you want to go to her store, Epic parking is free for the first hour and a half, and it's just around the corner, basically, from Kalamazoo Malls.
Thank you
But
so
thank you.
much. I really want to say thank you, and thank you for the ideas. I have worked in retail since I was 17, but I was never on the owner operator cook and bottle wash side of it. And so the last 8 years have been extremely instructive. The last 4 years of being here have been, I've just learned so much, but I don't know everything. And I love people's different perspectives. Someone came in the store yesterday and they had an idea. We're in the middle of totally readjusting things because their idea made so much more sense. And that's the cool thing about owning the shop. I can be flexible and do what I want. So I welcome all ideas, and I'm going to talk about the pricing today with my son. And so I really, really appreciate it. And I know somebody had a little hesitation on asking something, and don't ever feel bad about questioning or asking at all, because I take it all in and see what we can do and figure it out. So, but I hope to see you all in the shop and come in, even if you just stop in to chat. That's some of my favorite times, is just sitting and talking. So thank you.
Okay, thank you.